penalizing and tarnishing the image of a good man, a man who seeks peace for his own people. Yet the media is painting him black. And the people who are destroying Africa, because they use the media as their own instrument and their own puppet to change the mindset of the people, to damage an image of a good person, they are now becoming the angel, the wolves that are hiding behind the sheep clothing, destroying nations. When America entered into Afghanistan in about 2 decades ago, promised how they were going to build that nation, the Afghan people. For over 2 decades, the country has lived in severe conflicts. Finally, the Taliban took over their nation, and then we finally saw who were the cankerworms in Afghanistan. How do you leave your own nation with all the troubles, human rights violation, apartheid, racism, how would I say, all kinds of killings of black people? It took over 15 minutes when George Floyd was crying and begging for help, where everybody was seeing help could not come until George Floyd died in America. In that same America, America leaves its own problem and say, we are coming to help you Afghan people, only because of the 1 trillion untapped natural resources they saw in Afghanistan. As we are speaking, they are the ones looting out of Ethiopia, of South Africa. 600 companies of America alone in South Africa not paying taxes. Is that not an economic rape? How do you talk of human rights abuses and then you allow such criminals, state thieves, diplomatic criminals to go free from crimes against humanity? How do you enter and take somebody's destiny, take somebody's property, and then you turn back and accuse the same person for being his own problem, when yet you are the one intruding in his own affair? What is America doing in Ethiopia? What is France doing in Mali? What is France doing in Africa? What are they doing in Africa? That is where the challenge is. They enter here with government structures, policies, IMF, debts. And the Africans are running due to poverty and what they call bad leadership, because they have not understood that the way Africa is, leadership at that level in Africa can never give the Africans what the Africans deserve, because at that level it is well controlled and monitored by the West. If you are there you seek the will for your own people. America built an organization of militias in the 60s to eliminate any African president that comes to seek the will of his people. That's why Gaddafi was eliminated. That's why P.L. Lumumba was eliminated. That's why Sankara was eliminated. Gabriel, Steve Biko, Mandela, until we are getting a rumor, valid evidences from the South African embassy that gives us a different history of Nelson Mandela. That Mandela died since 1982. The Mandela that came out was not the Mandela who went into prison, and that is why Winnie Mandela divorced him, because she knew that was not her husband. We have seen all kinds of games the West has played in Africa, but Africa has come of age, and Africa has come to understood how the Western imperialist functions in Africa. And a new generation and a new breed of Africans have come up to take Africa to a place where Africans are going to smile and Africans are going to push out this evil agenda over Africa, because the West seeks no interest in Africa. We are talking of a democracy which is older than Africa, that was born in the 60s, reborn by the West in the 60s, and gave nations to governments to run on their behalf as private state-owned companies. We don't want this kind of leaders that we get up there at the level of the United Nations that are being marginalized, that do not have autonomy over their own nation. We are going to build a new Africa from grassroots, and not from that level where you keep going into elections and keep voting the same people that have been handpicked by the imperialists. And yet Africans are still crying the same problem of bad leadership every year in, year out. They go into the same polls and still get the same puppets that gets into a game which only the game ruler wins in such games. We are tired, And that is why we are calling on the masses of the Africans, both home and abroad. I have always said that each time the diasporans are always aligned, there's always have been a great success. The conflict in Cameroon in the northwest and southwest is thriving today because of the diaspora. The governments we are complaining in Africa of bad leadership is because they are in alliance with the Western nations. Each time there's a link with the outside world, there's always a great sign of success. And that is why we are calling on the Africans that are in the diaspora to unite and come back home and focus on Africa and understand that only Africans can build Africa and can provide the solutions of Africa. Solutions will not come from this leader. At that level of leadership, they are faced with a very united front that they cannot survive it. Abiy Ahmed is standing here alone. Tomorrow, when Abiy Ahmed comes out of power, as they are setting a pace for the democratic elections that are coming up, if he leaves, Ethiopia goes back to a different direction. Each time a good leader comes up, Africans, it does not matter where you are, we must learn to stand behind them. We are seeing Guinea-Conakry today. We are seeing Mali today. All of those nations seem to be standing as islands. Where is the AU to make sure that the rights and the sovereignty, the self-determination of these people, equality, they can push forward and make sure that such countries are being decolonized and free from imperialism. Yet the AU sits and only watches why Ethiopia is struggling with a very vicious and gruesome and a grievous enemy of the West, United States. Abiy Ahmed is facing United States. You tell me, how do you expect Abiy Ahmed to survive standing as one man? He is resisting. He has gone this far. Where is the support of other African member states to give him that support? We don't find that support.